Good morning students, welcome back to the lecture number 13 of chapter 4. This is the last lecture of this chapter, and in this lecture we will discuss and we will solve the remaining problems from exercise 4.3. So without wasting the time, we will start the first question. So the first question is, the taxi fare in a city has been given. Okay. For the first kilometer, the fare or the taxi fare is 8 rupees. So for the first kilometer, you have to pay 8 rupees as taxi fare. Then for the subsequent distance, it is rupees 5 per kilometer. Okay, what is the meaning of subsequent? Subsequent means the distance after 1 kilometer. Okay, so after 1 kilometer you have to pay rupees 5 per each kilometer. Understood? Let me tell you an example. Suppose you have to cover a distance total 10 kilometer. Understood? So you have to cover total 10 kilometer. Then you have to move through taxi. So you have to pay rupees 8 for first kilometer. Okay, for first kilometer you have to pay rupees 8. Understood? Next, from the subsequent kilometer means for the second kilometer, for the third kilometer, okay, for the fourth kilometer, for the 5th kilometer, for the 6th kilometer, 7th kilometer, 8th kilometer, 9th kilometer and 10th kilometer. Whenever you cover 1 kilometer, then how much distance remaining you have to cover? 10 minus 1 is 9 kilometer. Understood? So for the next 9 kilometer, see, there are 9 kilometer. For the next 9 kilometer, you have to pay rupees 5 per each kilometer. Understood? Again I am saying, see, for the first kilometer you have to pay rupees 8. Then remaining how much kilometer you have to cover? 10 minus 1, that is 9 kilometer you have to cover. Okay. So for 1 kilometer, for the subsequent 1 kilometer you have to pay rupees 5. So in this way you have to cover 9 kilometer. So for 9 kilometer you have to pay 5 into 9, that is 45 rupees. Understood? So total for 10 kilometer you have to pay how much amount? First you have to pay 8 rupees for first kilometer. Then the remaining 9 kilometer you have to pay 45 rupees. Hence total you have to pay 53 rupees in order to cover a distance of 10 kilometers. Okay? So this is the basic idea that a question gives you. Okay? So according to this idea, we have to solve the question. So here also it is given that for the first kilometer you have to pay rupees 8 and for the subsequent kilometer you have to pay rupees 5 per 1 kilometer. Okay. So it is already given that total distance covered you have to take x kilometer. Here we have taken 10 kilometer. Similarly, you can write total distance covered is x kilometer. Okay, but for the first kilometer you have to pay rupees 8. So for first kilometer total fare is 8 rupees. For the first kilometer you have to pay rupees 8. Then after covering 1 kilometer, how much distance remaining you have to cover? After covering 1 kilometer, how much distance you have to cover here? 10 minus 1 is 9 kilometer. Exactly. After covering 1 kilometer, how much remaining distance you have to cover? So remaining distance is how much? X minus 1. Okay. So remaining distance is x minus 1 kilometer. Understood? Now, according to the question, it is given that for the subsequent distance, you have to pay rupees 5 per kilometer. Okay. So, for 1 kilometer, we have to pay 5 rupees. Okay. But we have to cover x minus 1 kilometer. So, for x minus 1 kilometer, we have to pay how much amount? it will be multiplied 5 fall into x minus 1. Then you can multiply them using distributive law. It will be 5x minus 5. Okay. So this much amount you have to pay in order to cover x minus 1 kilometer. Understood? Now it is clear. Next, total cost or total fare you have to pay for the taxi. You have to pay, or we have to pay for taxi. So for the first kilometer I have to pay 8 rupees. Then for another x minus 1 kilometer I have to pay 5x minus 5 rupees. 5x minus 5. So it will be 5x, 8 minus 5 is 3. Right? So you have to pay total 5x plus 3 rupees. This is the total fare. Understood? But according to the question it is given that the total fare is y rupees. Okay? So according to the question it is given that total fare is how much? Y rupees is equal to y rupees. But here we found the total rupees or total fare is 5x plus 3 rupees. So you can write in this place 5x plus 3 is equal to y. Okay. So this is the linear equation in two variables that we need, because the question asks you to write a linear equation for this given data. Understood? Now we have to draw the graph of this linear equation in two variables. Okay, so let's draw. So in order to draw the graph of this linear equation we have to find at least two solutions of this equation. Okay, so the equation is 5x plus 3 is equal to y. Suppose we put x to be 0, then the equation becomes 3 is equal to y, implies y is equal to 3. So the solution is 0, 3. Okay, similarly we can put y to be 0, so that we get 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. Hence x is equal to minus 3 by 5, that is minus 0.6. So now we get two solutions of the equation, x0, y3, and here y0, x minus 0.6. So that we can now easily draw the graph of this linear equation. X 1, 2, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 1, minus 2. Okay. Next, 0, 3. You have to represent 0, 3 point on the Cartesian coordinate system. So 0, 3. So x coordinate 0 means this point should lie on the x-axis. So this point is 0, 3. Then minus 0.6, 0. Your y coordinate 0, that means it should lie on x-axis. So this is 0.5 minus 0.5, this is minus 0.6. Okay, so this is your 0, 3 and minus 0.6, 0. Let us join these 2 points so that you will get a straight line. Hence, this straight line represents the equation 5x plus 3 is equal to y. Okay, understood? Let us solve the question number 6. Okay, so it is given that if the work done by a body on application of constant force is directly proportional to the distance travelled by the body. So let us first understand this sentence clearly. So according to the sentence, it is given that if there is a body, suppose this is a body, and we push this body or we pull this body. Pushing and pulling is nothing but a type of force. Okay, we apply a force on it. Then what will happen? See, if I push this body, that means if I apply a force on this body, then work is done by the body. Okay, work is done by the body, so that the body will move. Yes or no? Yes, the body will move and it will cover a distance. Understood? Similarly, if I pull this body in this direction, then work is done on the body and it will move, okay, in this direction. It means it will cover a distance. Hence, whenever a force is done on a body, okay, whenever a force is done on a body, then work also done by the body, isn't it? Due to the work done by the body will move so that it will cover a distance. Distance covered. Okay, suppose there is a brick, and if I push this brick in this direction, that means I will apply some force on it, as a result of which work is done by the body. The body will do some work and it will move in this direction. Okay, this is the movement, so that you will cover a distance. Now understood? So here also it is given that whenever a constant force is given on the body, okay, then the body will move, and that movement and that distance covered is directly proportional to the work done. Okay, so according to the question, it is given that work done by the body is directly proportional to distance covered. Distance covered by the body. What is the meaning of this directly proportional? It means here it is given that you can see you have to apply a constant force, and remind this, the unit of force is Newton. What is Newton? As the unit of distance is kilometer, meter, centimeter. Similarly, the unit of force is Newton, and the unit of work done is joule. You will study it in your science subject. Okay, so the unit of force is Newton and unit of work done is what? Joule. So it is according to the question, it is given that whenever you apply a constant force, suppose you apply 9 Newton of force on the body, okay, then what will happen? Then some work is done by the body, okay, that means the work done will increase. As the work done is increased, then the body will move, or then the body will cover more distance, much distance. Okay, suppose the surface is rough, okay, then same amount of force you apply, 9 Newton force you apply, then work done by the body will be minimum. Why? Because due to the friction, it will not cover much distance. Okay, work done also decreases, as well as the distance covered by the body also decreases. But if the surface is very smooth, very slippery surface, okay, suppose the surface is made by marble, then if you push the body with 9 Newton force, then more work is done by the body and it will cover much distances. So as the work done increases, the distance covered also increases. As the work done decreases, the distance covered by the body also decreases. This is directly proportional. If work done increases, then distance covered also increases. If work done decreases, then distance covered also decreases. Understood? This concept is known as directly proportional. Okay. Now I think you can understand what I mean. So next thing, suppose I use the abbreviatory term W for work done. Okay, proportional to distance covered can be abbreviatory termed as S. Okay, so W is directly proportional to S, where W and S are unknown variable. You can use X and Y also, but here I use W and S. Understood this? Next thing, it is given that you have to apply a constant force on it. So in order to equate these two terms, I have to use a constant force, and that constant force must be multiplied with the distance covered. Okay. So my next target is to equate these two terms. W is equal to S. In order to equate them, I have to introduce a constant force. Okay, and that constant force must be multiplied with S. Understood? You have to keep in mind that in order to equate any two proportional term, you have to use a constant term. Suppose x is proportional to y. It means if x increases, y increases. X decreases, y decreases. This is the directly proportional concept. Then in order to equate these two terms, you have to use a constant term k with y. Here the constant term is constant force, so I use F into S. Understood? Next thing is, instead of using W and S, you also can use X and Y. That doesn't matter. Okay, you can use X and Y, but for my convenience, I use W and S as unknown variable. Okay, you can use X and Y as unknown variable, no problem. So you get W is equal to Fs. Okay, here F is a constant term. So how many variables are there? Two variables. This is a variable. This is a variable. F is constant. F is constant because it is given in the question. F is constant. F is not a variable. There are two variables, F and S. If you are trouble in identifying W and S as unknown variable, you can use X for W and Y for S. Okay. Suppose I write X is equal to Fy. So this is the linear equation in two variables. Understood? Now it is given that express this in the form of an equation in two variables. It is completed, and draw the graph by taking the constant force H5 unit. Okay, this is the linear equation in two variables. First thing is completed. The second thing is we have to draw the graph of this equation by taking the constant force H5 unit. So here I have to write F as 5 and substitute it in the original equation. Hence the equation becomes x is equal to 5y. Understood? This is the equation that we need to draw the graph. Okay. Next, in order to draw the graph, we have to find at least two solutions of it. So let's find. Suppose I use x to be 0. I take x to be 0 here. Substitute it in the equation. The equation becomes 0 is equal to 5y. Hence y, height y is equal to 0. Implies y is equal to 0 by 5 is equal to 0. So solution is 0, 0. Next, we can substitute y to be 0. If I substitute y to be 0 in the equation becomes x is equal to 5 into 0. So it will be x is equal to 0. Here also you get 0, 0. Next, let us find one more solution of it. Suppose I use y to be 1, right, in the original equation. Then the equation becomes x is equal to 5 into 1. So x is equal to 5. So the solution is 5, 1. So we get how many solutions? We get two solutions. Why? Two solutions because these 2 points are nothing but the same point. That's why I have to find another solution. So the two solutions are 0, 0 and 5, 1. And now we can easily represent those 2 points on the Cartesian coordinate system. So let's represent. So on a Cartesian coordinate system there are two axes, x-axis and y-axis. Okay, x-axis represent whom? X-axis represent the work done. So right here it is for work done, and y-axis represents the distance covered. Okay, distance covered. Now we have to remark those points on the Cartesian system. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let us represent 0, 0. 0, 0 means it is the coordinate of the origin. This is the origin. Next is 5, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and this is your point 1. Understood? So this is 0, 0 and this is 5, 1. Now let us join these 2 points so that you will get straight line. Understood? This straight line represents the equation x is equal to 5y. Right? So this is the solution, or this is the graphical representation of this equation x is equal to 5y. Okay? Next thing, also read from the graph. That means you have to analyze this graph, you have to read this graph and find out the work done when distance traveled by the body is 2 units. It means you have to find out the work done. Okay? You have to find out work done. Work done means you have to find out x. So instead of writing w, I have to write x. So I have to find the value of x when what? Distance covered. Distance covered means y. When it is given that y is equal to 2 unit. Okay. So you can find the value of x by putting the value of y in the original equation. But you have to find the value of x from this graph, not from this equation. But if you want, you can find out. Suppose if the original equation is x is equal to 5y, you have to put y to be 2 in the equation. So x is equal to 5 into 2, that is x is equal to 10. So from the equation you can easily find out the value of x. But we have to find out that values from the graph. Okay. So how? It is given that the y coordinate is 2 unit. So how we can find? See, this is the y coordinate or y axis. Now just draw a straight line in this direction. Okay. Then you can see this straight line. Okay, or this perpendicular distance, chord this straight line at a point. Okay, now you have to draw a perpendicular distance to x axis from that point. Right, so first you have to draw a perpendicular distance from 2 unit to the line, so that this line is intersected by the perpendicular distance at a point, and from this point you have to draw a perpendicular distance to x axis. Now you can see this coordinate is 10, 0. See, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. On the x-axis, as you have to find the x coordinate. Why? Because x coordinate is the work done. So here x coordinate is 10 unit. So from the graph, you find your x coordinate is 10 units. Understood? Similarly, here also you have to find out the x coordinate if the distance covered is 0. Okay, so here this point, when y to be 0, then at that point also x value is also 0. Okay, so here also you can write x to be 0. That means if no work is done on the body, then the body will not move, it will not cover any distance. Okay. So the x coordinate or the work done by the body is 0 unit if the distance travelled by the body is 0 unit. Understood? And now coming to the next question. So in this question it is given that Yamini and Fatima are 2 students of class IX of a school. They togetherly contributed rupees 100 towards the Prime Minister Relief Fund to help the earthquake victims. Okay. So in order to help the earthquake victims, 2 students, Yamini and Fatima, contributed rupees 100 combinedly to Prime Minister Relief Fund. Okay. So Fatima and Yamini combinedly donate 100 rupees to the Prime Minister Relief Fund. So we have to write a linear equation satisfying the given data. So here we don't know how much amount of money Fatima contribute, how much amount of money Yamini contribute. We only know that both combinedly contribute rupees 100. So we can take, let Fatima contribute x rupees, contribute rupees x. Similarly, Yamini contribute rupees y. According to the question, it is given that according to question it is given that both combinedly share or contribute 100 rupees. Okay, so x rupees plus y rupees is equal to 100 rupees. Okay, this is the amount of money contributed by Fatima and this is the amount of money contributed by Yamini. Understood? So this is the linear equation in two variables which contains two unknown variables x and y. Okay, this is the equation that we need from the given data. Understood? Next thing is we have to draw a graph from this equation. As we know, in order to draw a graph, we need at least two solutions. So let's find the two solutions of this equation. Suppose I take x to be 50. Okay, then substitute x to be 50 in the original equation. The equation becomes 50 plus y is equal to 100, implies y is equal to 100 minus 50 is equal to 50. Hence the solution is 50, 50. Right? And next, if I put x to be 60, then the equation becomes 60 plus y is equal to 100. So y is equal to 100 minus 60 is equal to 40. Hence the solution is 60, 40. So these are the two solutions. Let us write them in tabular form. X, y. First one is 50, 50 and 60, 40. Now we have to represent those 2 points on the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, so this is x-axis. X-axis denotes whom? X-axis denotes the amount of rupees contributed by Fatima, and the y-axis denotes the amount of money contributed by Yamini. Okay, now we have to mark the points. In this case, you can see the points are very large, 50, 60. That's why you have to put the points like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, like this. Similarly, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30. In y-axis also you have to take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Now you have to represent those 2 points. First point is 50, 50. So in the x-axis it is 50 and in the y-axis it is 50. So this is the point. Represents 50, 50. Next is 60, 40. So in x-axis it is 60 units. And in y-axis it is 40 units. This is the point which represents 60, 40. Okay. Now join these 2 points and you will get a straight line. And this straight line represents the equation x plus y is equal to 100. Right. And now we will solve the question number 8. In question number 8, there is an equation. This equation is a relationship between two temperature measurement scale, Fahrenheit and Celsius. Okay, in order to measure temperature, we use Fahrenheit scale or Celsius scale, or there is also another type of scale like Kelvin scale. Okay, so here we have two types of scale, F and C, and this is the relationship between F and C. On the basis of this equation, we have to solve 5 points, but here we will solve the first point. In the next session, we will solve the remaining points. Right? So here you have to, in the first point, you have to draw the graph of this linear equation. Okay. So the equation is f is equal to 9 by 5 c plus 32. It is a linear equation. Why it is a linear equation? Because there are two unknown variables, f and c. Okay. There are two unknown variables, f and c. If it is difficult to identify the unknown variable, then you can take f as y-axis and c as x-axis. So the equation becomes plus 32. Okay. For your convenience, you can take f as y and c as x, because you can take Celsius for x-axis and Fahrenheit for y-axis. So your equation becomes y is equal to 9 by 5 whole into x plus 32. Understood? So y and x are the two unknown variables. You have to draw the graph for this linear equation. As you know, in order to draw the graph, we need at least two solutions. So let us find the two solutions. Okay, so first I have to put, suppose you put y to be 0 in the original equation. Now the equation becomes 0 is equal to 9 by 5 whole into x plus 32 implies 9 by 5 whole into x plus 32 is equal to 0. So 9 by 5 whole into x is equal to minus 32 implies x, you have to find the value of x. So implies x is equal to minus 32 into 5 by 9. Because 5 here placed at the denominator. So when it goes to the right hand side, it will be in the numerator and 9 will be in the denominator. So minus 160 by 9. So then find the decimal expansion of this fraction. It will be minus 1.7. So the solution is, first write the x coordinate, minus 1.7, 0. Similarly, you put x to be 0 in this original equation. Then you find y is equal to 9 by 5 whole into 0 plus 32. So y is equal to 9 by 5 into 0 is 0 plus 32. So y is equal to 32. Hence the solution is 0, 30. Understood? We get two solutions here. Then draw the tabular form x, y. So we get first minus 1.7, 0 and 0, 32. We have to represent these 2 points on the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay. So x-axis represents Celsius scale and y-axis represents Fahrenheit scale. Okay. So mark the points 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now in y-axis you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Why? Because y coordinate is very large. That's why I choose 10, 20, 30 interval. So it will be minus 10, minus 20, minus 30. First point is minus 1.70. Okay. So minus 1.7 means in between minus 1 and minus 2 there are 9 straight line. So it divides it into 10 equal parts. So minus 1.7, minus 1.1, minus 1.2, minus 1.3, minus 1.4, minus 1.5, minus 1.6, minus 1.7 and 0. Y coordinate is 0. So it lies on x-axis. This is minus 1.7 and 0. Now here x coordinate is 0. So it lies on y-axis. 0, 32, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37 and so on. So this is your 32. This is 0, 32 and this point is minus 1.7, 0. Now join these 2 points. Okay. And this straight line represents the equation what? Y is equal to 9 by 5 whole into x plus 32. Understood? So now in the second point, if temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, find the temperature in Fahrenheit. So here it is given that the temperature in Celsius scale is 30 degree. Okay, so it is given that one unknown variable C is 30 degree for the equation. Okay, so you have to find the temperature in Fahrenheit. How? By simply substituting this value in the equation. So let's substitute. So the equation is F is equal to 9 by 5 whole into C plus 32. So we have to use 30 degree in this equation. So the equation becomes F is equal to 9 by 5 whole into 30, right, plus 32. Okay. So F is equal to, now cancel it, 5.56. So 9 into 6 plus 32. That is 54, 9 6 are 54 plus 32. So we get F is equal to 54 plus 32 86 degree. So the temperature, hence the temperature in Fahrenheit scale is 86 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. Now coming to the third point, here the temperature is given in Fahrenheit. So F is equal to 95 degree. You have to find the temperature in Celsius. So you have to find the another unknown variable C. Simply substitute it in the original equation. So let's substitute. The equation becomes F is equal to 9 by 5 whole into C plus 32. So I substitute F as 95 is equal to 9 by 5 into C plus 32. Implies, first write this term 9 by 5 whole into C plus 32 is equal to 95. Right? So 9 by 5 whole into C is equal to 32 goes to the right hand side, it will be subtracted. And it is 63. So I get 9 by 5 whole into C is equal to 63. So find C. C will become 5 here in the denominator. When goes to the right hand side it will be multiplied, and 9 in the numerator. When goes to the right hand side it will be divided. Okay, so cancel 9 1 9 7 9 7 is 63. So we get C is equal to 75 is 30. Understood? Hence the temperature in Celsius scale is 35 degree C. C means Celsius. Okay. Next is fourth point. In fourth point it is given if temperature is 0 degree Celsius. That means the temperature is given in which scale? Celsius scale. So here you can take C is equal to 0 degree. Okay. Find the temperature in Fahrenheit. You have to find the temperature in Fahrenheit scale. So simply substitute this value in the original equation. So equation becomes F is equal to 9 by 5 into C means 0 plus 32. Okay. Hence F is equal to 9 by 5 into 0 is how much? 0. Anything multiplied with 0 is 0. So you get F is equal to 32 degree. Hence the Fahrenheit scale will be 32 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. And the second point is if temperature is 0 degree Fahrenheit. So here it is given that the Fahrenheit scale is 0 here. Find the temperature in Celsius scale. You have to find C. Simply substitute it in the equation. Equation becomes 0 is equal to 9 by 5 into C plus 32. So 9 by 5 C plus 32 is equal to 0. Implies 9 by 5 C is equal to minus 32. Implies C is equal to minus 32. 5 is multiplied, 9 is divided. Minus 160 by 9, that is minus 1.7 degree. Hence the temperature in Celsius scale is minus 1.7 degree Celsius. Understood? Next and the last but not the least point, is there a temperature which is numerically same in both Fahrenheit and Celsius? It means you have to find out a temperature which is same in Fahrenheit and also Celsius. Here you can see if Celsius is 0, Fahrenheit is 32. They are not equal. Here if Fahrenheit is 0, then Celsius is minus 1.7 degree Celsius. That means the two values are not coincidental or equal to each other. They do not coincide with each other. But you have to find out, is there any temperature on which both the value of Fahrenheit scale as well as the value of Celsius scale are equal or not. Okay. So here it is given that both Fahrenheit and Celsius scale should be same. How we can find this? So first you use this condition. Here it is given that F is equal to C. It is given in the question. It is the condition. Then you have to find the temperature, particular temperature. So use this condition in the equation. Okay. So equation is F is equal to 9 by 5 into C plus 30. So I can write F is equal to 9 by 5 F plus 32. Here I substitute F in place of C. What is the reason? The reason is we can substitute F as C because F and C are equal. So right here F is equal to C. Okay, in the place of C I substitute F. Now F is equal to, it can be written as 9F by 5. 9 into F, 9F by 5 plus 32. So f is equal to, it can be written as 32 by 1. So first find the LCM and add them. 9f plus 160. Okay. So next is f can be written as f by 1. No issue. Is equal to 9f plus 160 by 5. Now do the cross multiplication. In cross multiplication, the numerator multiplied with denominator and the denominator multiplied with the numerator of the opposite side. So 5 is multiplied with f, it will be 5f. Then 1 is multiplied with 9f plus 160. So you get 5f is equal to, when 1 multiplied with any number, you will get the same number, 9f plus 160. Okay, so now you should take 9f to left hand side. It will be 5f minus 9f is equal to 160. So 5f minus 9f is minus 4f is equal to 160. Then find the value of f. F will be 160 divided by minus 4. Carefully watch the calculation. Okay, 41440. So you get f is equal to minus 40t. Okay, so we get f is equal to minus 40 degree, and we know f is equal to c. So c will become also minus 40 degree. So what is the particular temperature at which f and c are equal? At temperature minus 40 degree, both f and c are equal. This is the result. So at minus 40 degree, both f and c are same. Understood? You have to carefully watch the calculation how it does. Right?